Imagine a world where chaos and strategy collide in the most unexpected way. Gotham's Dark Knight Batman finds himself facing foes whose powers defy logic, tearing through the very fabric of reality. Villains that belong to Superman's world. Meanwhile, the Man of Steel must navigate Gotham's labyrinth of fear, deception, and psychological warfare, battling criminals whose cunning rivals his own intellect. Cities crumble, alliances shatter, and the balance of justice hangs by a thread. What happens when the hunter becomes the hunted, and heroes are forced to adapt to enemies they've never faced? Can Batman survive against foes of godlike power, or will Superman's unwavering might falter in the shadows of Gotham? The rules have changed, the villains have switched, and neither hero is prepared for the consequences. Like a crown of fire, painting every skyscraper in shades of amber and gold. On the rooftop of the Daily Planet, a dark figure stood against the brilliant blue sky. Batman Reimagined had arrived in a city that was not his own, summoned by a tear in reality itself. Green lightning crackled across the heavens, splitting the perfect sky with emerald fury. But even that cosmic disturbance could not dim the radiant light that bathed this city of tomorrow. His cape flowed majestically in the warm wind, catching sunlight like black silk woven with shadows. His armor gleamed with dark purpose, every edge and curve designed for one thing and one thing only: justice. Batman Reimagined surveyed the gleaming metropolis below him. This was not Gotham. There were no gargoyles here, no perpetual darkness, no whispers of fear in every alleyway. Metropolis stood proud under the sun, its glass towers reflecting light like 1,000 mirrors, its streets filled with people who still believed in hope. But today, that hope was under siege. Something terrible had come to this bright city, something that threatened to turn all that light into ash. And Batman Reimagined was the only one standing between salvation and annihilation. His eyes narrowed beneath his cowl as another bolt of green lightning struck the city below. The tear in reality was widening, and through it came nightmares. The streets of sunlit Metropolis erupted into chaos as Doomsday Reimagined emerged from the dimensional rift. The monster towered 3 stories tall, muscles rippling with power that could shatter mountains, bones protruding from gray skin like the armor of some primordial demon. But even this creature of destruction could not escape the golden light that flooded the city. Sunlight gleamed off his terrible form as he roared, the sound shaking windows for miles in every direction. Cars lifted into the air around him, twisted by invisible forces, metal screaming as it bent and broke. Glass shards exploded from nearby buildings, but instead of falling like deadly rain, they caught the sunlight and sparkled like 1,000,000 diamonds suspended in air. And above the chaos, moving in perfect formation against the crystal-clear blue sky, came the drones of Brainiac Reimagined. Silver and sleek, they cut through the air like mechanical predators, their sensors scanning everything, their weapons charging with cold efficiency. Brainiac Reimagined himself hovered at the center of a swarm, a being of pure intellect encased in gleaming metal, his eyes glowing with the light of 1,000 calculated destructions. Together, Doomsday Reimagined and Brainiac Reimagined represented the ultimate combination of raw power and cold intelligence. Unstoppable force meets unfeeling calculation. The citizens of Metropolis ran through the sunlit streets, their screams rising into the golden afternoon air. Explosions bloomed like terrible flowers, vibrant oranges and reds against the blue sky. But even in destruction, the light remained. This city refused to fall into darkness. Batman Reimagined did not hesitate. He leapt from the Daily Planet rooftop, his grappling hook firing with perfect precision, the cable catching a gleaming skyscraper across the street. He swung through the brilliant afternoon sun, his cape spreading wide like the wings of some great bird of prey, casting a shadow that raced across the golden buildings below. The wind rushed past him as he arced between towers of glass and steel, each one reflecting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. His body twisted in midair, performing maneuvers that would be impossible for any normal human. But Batman Reimagined had never been normal. He was the peak of human potential wrapped in determination and darkness. He He landed on a lower rooftop, immediately breaking into a sprint, leaping across the gap to the next building without breaking stride. The city blurred around him, a kaleidoscope of golden light and gleaming surfaces. Below, Doomsday Reimagined continued his rampage, but Batman Reimagined was already planning. Every jump, every swing, every moment of flight brought him closer to his target. And with every second, his tactical mind processed thousands of variables, discarding options, refining strategies, preparing for the battle of his life. 3,000 miles away, another hero faced a different kind of challenge. Superman Reimagined descended from the clouds above Gotham City. But this was not the Gotham of eternal night. The sun was setting over the Gothic spires, painting everything in shades of amber and gold. Warm light flooded through the fog, transforming it into a golden mist that swirled around ancient buildings like something from a dream. Superman Reimagined hovered above the streets, his red cape catching the sunset light, billowing behind him like a banner of hope. His blue suit seemed to glow with inner power, the iconic symbol on his chest gleaming like a promise. This was not his city. He was used to Metropolis, to the clean lines and hopeful faces, to the sunlight that seemed to bless everything it touched. Gotham was different. Even bathed in sunset gold, there was something heavy about this place, something that pressed against the spirit like invisible weights. The architecture loomed and twisted, gargoyles watching from every corner, shadows that seemed to move even in the light. But Superman Reimagined was not afraid. He had faced gods and monsters. He had died and returned. Whatever Gotham could throw at him, he would face it with the same unwavering courage that defined his very existence. And then the laughter began. On a rooftop bathed in the warm amber light of sunset, 3 figures emerged to face the Man of Steel. Joker Reimagined stood at the center, his chalk-white face split by a grin that seemed too wide for any human mouth. His purple suit caught the golden light, making him look almost regal in his madness. In his hands, knives danced and twirled, catching sunset rays and throwing them back like deadly stars. To his left, Riddler Reimagined emerged from the illuminated shadows, his bright green suit almost glowing against the warm backdrop. Question marks adorned every surface around him, glowing with neon light that competed with the setting sun. And to the right, Bane Reimagined stepped forward, his massive form silhouetted against the orange sky. Muscles bulged with impossible power, veins pulsing with the venom that made him strong enough to break gods. He cracked his knuckles, the sound echoing across the rooftops like thunder. Reimagined called out, his voice carrying on the warm evening wind. "We've been waiting for you, and we have such wonderful games planned." Superman Reimagined floated higher, eyes beginning to glow with heat vision as he assessed the threat. 3 of Gotham's most dangerous villains united against him. In a city he did not know, playing by rules he did not understand. This was going to be interesting. Back in Metropolis, Batman Reimagined had reached the streets. The golden afternoon sun beat down on the chaos around him as he worked with mechanical precision. His hands moved in blurs, planting glowing blue EMP devices on electrical junctions throughout the area. Each device pulsed with brilliant azure light, beautiful and deadly, designed to disrupt the technology that gave Brainiac Reimagined his advantage. Above him, the silver drones continued their patrol, sensors sweeping the streets, weapons ready to fire at any threat. Batman Reimagined pressed the detonator. The sky erupted with light. Blue electricity arced between buildings like artificial lightning, beautiful and terrible at once. Brainiac Reimagined's drones sparked and shuddered, their systems overwhelmed by the electromagnetic pulse. One by one, they began to fall, trailing smoke and fire as they crashed into the sunlit streets below. But even as they fell, they caught the golden light. Their destruction transformed into something almost artistic. Sparks flew like fireworks against the crystal blue sky, and for a moment, the chaos of battle became a spectacle of light and color. Brainiac Reimagined's cold voice echoed across the battlefield. Impressive, but insufficient. His remaining drones regrouped, their systems adapting to the new threat. But Batman Reimagined was already moving, already planning the next phase of his attack. The EMP had been just the beginning. Doomsday, reimagined, had noticed the disruption. The monster turned toward the source of the electromagnetic pulse, small eyes burning with rage beneath his bony brow. He saw Batman reimagined darting between the sunlit ruins, cape flowing behind him, and something like recognition flickered in his primitive mind. This small creature had hurt his ally. This small creature would pay. The monster charged. Batman reimagined stood his ground as Doomsday reimagined thundered toward him, each footstep cracking the concrete, each stride covering dozens of feet. At the last possible second, Batman reimagined moved. He rolled sideways as massive claws swept through the space where he had been standing, close enough to feel the wind of their passage. He came up running, leading the monster toward a specific location, a half-collapsed skyscraper that still caught the afternoon sun, its broken windows glittering like a crown of diamonds. Doomsday reimagined followed, driven by rage and the simple desire to destroy. He crashed through walls and barriers, each impact sending debris flying in golden showers of dust and stone. Batman reimagined stayed just ahead, using his grappling hook to swing across gaps, his cape spreading wide as he glided through shafts of sunlight. The chase was a dance of shadow and light, of monster and man, of raw power and refined skill. And then the trap sprung. Batman reimagined pressed another button on his gauntlet. Explosives planted throughout the skyscraper detonated in perfect sequence. Controlled demolition bringing 40 floors of steel and concrete down on the pursuing monster. Doomsday reimagined roared in fury as the building collapsed around him, sunlight streaming through the growing cloud of dust, debris falling like glittering rain. Batman reimagined watched from a safe distance as the monster disappeared beneath tons of rubble, still illuminated by the brilliant afternoon sun. For a moment, silence fell over that section of Metropolis. The dust sparkled in the golden light like a cloud of gems. And then, from beneath the rubble, came a roar of pure rage. In Gotham, Superman reimagined was learning that raw power was not enough. The sunset had painted the city in shades of orange and gold, warm light streaming between Gothic buildings, but the battle was anything but warm. Joker reimagined threw razor-sharp playing cards that caught the light as they flew, each one a deadly, glittering threat. Riddler reimagined had activated his network of traps, mechanical devices whirring to life in the golden shadows, laser grids and crushing walls and electrified floors waiting for the slightest misstep. And Bane reimagined charged forward with unstoppable momentum, fists swinging with force that could crack the Man of Steel's jaw if they connected. Superman reimagined moved with grace and power, his eyes tracking every threat simultaneously. Heat vision lanced out, cutting through Riddler reimagined's traps before they could activate, the red beams bright against the orange sky. He caught Bane reimagined's massive punch, the impact creating a shockwave that rippled outward through the warm evening air, rattling windows and shaking loose stones from nearby gargoyles. For a moment, the two titans stood locked in combat, strength against strength, God against monster. Joker reimagined's laughter echoed through the streets. That's it. That's the spirit. Fight, alien, fight. Show us what you're made of. He pressed a button on a remote control, and explosions bloomed across the rooftops, beautiful and deadly. Orange fire joining the orange sunset until it was impossible to tell where destruction ended and beauty began. But Superman reimagined was adapting. He was learning the rhythm of Gotham's chaos, the patterns hidden within the madness. Joker reimagined attacked from unexpected angles, so Superman reimagined started expecting the unexpected. Riddler reimagined's traps followed logical sequences, so Superman reimagined began solving them before they activated. Bane reimagined relied on overwhelming force, so Superman reimagined used that force against him, redirecting each charge into walls and barriers. The tide of battle was turning. Back in Metropolis, the afternoon sun had begun its descent toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and amber. Batman reimagined stood in the center of a plaza, surrounded by the flickering blue light of his holographic projectors. Dozens of copies of himself filled the sunlit space, each one perfect in every detail, each one moving with the same deliberate grace. Doomsday Reimagined had burst from the rubble, more furious than ever, and now he stood confused in the center of the plaza, surrounded by targets he could not identify. Reimagined, his claws passing harmlessly through holographic light. He roared in frustration, spinning to attack another, then another, each time meeting nothing but empty air and blue sparkles. Brainiac Reimagined's remaining drones attempted to scan the holograms to identify the real Batman Reimagined, but the projectors were scrambling their sensors. False data flooded their systems, and for the first time, the cold, calculating intelligence of Brainiac Reimagined encountered something he had not anticipated: confusion. Batman Reimagined watched from his concealed position, allowing himself a small moment of satisfaction. His armor was dented, his body exhausted, but his mind remained sharp. The holograms were buying him time, but time for what? He needed a more permanent solution. He needed to use the city itself as his ultimate weapon. His eyes scanned the battlefield, taking in every detail: the electromagnetic charges he had planted, the structural weaknesses of nearby buildings, the power generator 3 blocks away, and slowly a plan began to form. In Gotham, the sunset had deepened into rich shades of purple and gold, the sky a canvas of warm colors that seemed almost too beautiful for the battle raging below. Superman Reimagined had gained the upper hand. Bane Reimagined lay in a crater of his own making, finally brought down by the precise application of force he had never expected from the Man of Steel. Riddler Reimagined was unconscious, outsmarted by someone who had learned to think in questions and answers. Only Joker Reimagined remained, standing on a rooftop illuminated by the last rays of the setting sun. The villain held a detonator in his hand, his grin as wide as ever despite his defeat. "You think you've won, alien? You think this is over?" His laughter echoed across the golden rooftops. This is never over. This is Gotham. And in Gotham, the game never ends. Superman Reimagined floated toward him, cape billowing in the warm evening breeze, eyes glowing with barely contained power. "The game ends when I say it ends." He moved faster than thought, snatching the detonator from Joker Reimagined's hand, crushing it to powder. Then, with precise and measured force, he subdued the clown prince of crime, leaving him bound and helpless on the sunset-painted rooftop. For the first time since arriving in Gotham, Superman Reimagined allowed himself to breathe. He hovered above the defeated villains, the golden light of sunset streaming around his silhouette, cape flowing majestically behind him. The city stretched out below, battered but unbroken, its Gothic spires reaching toward a sky painted in shades of triumph. He had won, but he knew this was only one battle in a larger war. In Metropolis, Batman Reimagined executed his final gambit. He had led Doomsday Reimagined into a narrow corridor of streets, lined with buildings he had rigged with electromagnetic charges. The monster charged forward, driven by rage, unaware that every step took him deeper into the trap. And at the corridor's end stood a massive power generator, its systems humming with barely contained energy. Batman Reimagined pressed the trigger. Electromagnetic fields surged to life, blue energy crackling through the air like captured lightning. Doomsday Reimagined stumbled, his movements slowed by forces he could not understand or fight. The generator roared, pouring power into the magnetic trap, creating a cage of pure energy that held even the unstoppable monster in place. Brainiac Reimagined's drones attempted to intervene, but they flew straight into the electromagnetic field and short-circuited, falling from the sky like metal rain. Batman Reimagined stood atop the trap, breathing heavily, every muscle in his body screaming for rest. But he had done it. He had contained God. Behind him, the afternoon sun gleamed off the Metropolis skyline, the city damaged but not destroyed, its towers still reaching toward the golden sky. Doomsday Reimagined roared beneath him, trapped and furious, but contained. The Dark Knight allowed himself a moment of grim satisfaction. Then he began planning the next phase. The two heroes stood victorious in their respective cities, separated by thousands of miles, but united by purpose. In Metropolis, Batman Reimagined overlooked a city bathed in golden afternoon light, its skyscrapers gleaming despite the damage, its people emerging from shelters to see that they had survived. In Gotham, Superman Reimagined floated above streets painted in sunset gold, the Gothic architecture somehow softened by the warm light, the defeated villains being collected by police who could hardly believe what they were seeing. A split screen of triumph. Dark Knight on the left, Man of Steel on the right. Both standing against golden skies, both having faced impossible odds, both having emerged victorious. Metropolis and Gotham, so different in so many ways, yet both saved by heroes who had stepped outside their comfort zones and risen to challenges they were never meant to face. But even as the heroes celebrated their victories, darkness was gathering once more. In the depths of Metropolis, Doomsday Reimagined strained against his electromagnetic prison, his rage building with every passing moment. His muscles bulged, bones cracking and reforming, his body adapting to the forces that held him. Brainiac Reimagined systems hummed as backup programs came online, learning from every previous encounter, developing new strategies to counter the Dark Knight's tactics. In Gotham shadows, even shadows touched by golden light, the villains were recovering. Joker Reimagined's laughter echoed through his prison cell as his mind spun new schemes, more deadly and more unpredictable than ever before. Riddler Reimagined scratched equations on his cell wall, developing traps specifically designed to counter Kryptonian physiology. And Bane Reimagined, held in a maximum security facility, was increasing his venom dosage, pushing his body toward levels of power that might actually challenge God. The villains regrouped in the warm light of day, their defeats teaching them valuable lessons about their new enemies. They had underestimated the heroes. They would not make that mistake again, but the heroes were not finished either. Both cities in shades of brilliant gold and warm orange, two figures stood on a cliff overlooking the world below. Batman Reimagined and Superman Reimagined had found each other, drawn together by the bond of warriors who had faced impossible odds and survived. Behind them, the cities they had saved stretched toward the horizon. Metropolis gleamed on the right, its towers catching the morning sun like monuments to hope. Gotham sprawled on the left, its Gothic spires softened by the golden dawn light. The two heroes stood side by side, capes flowing together in the morning wind, united at last. Batman Reimagined, born of tragedy and forged in shadow, had proven that human determination could stand against cosmic horror. Superman Reimagined, born of stars and raised in hope, had proven that godlike power could learn wisdom and restraint. They were opposites in so many ways, dark and light, human and Kryptonian, fear and hope. But standing together against the rising sun, they were something more. They were symbols. They were legends. They were the shield between the innocent and the forces that would destroy them. They'll come back, Superman Reimagined said, his voice carrying on the morning breeze. Doomsday, Brainiac, Joker, all of them. They'll come back stronger. Batman Reimagined nodded, his jaw set with familiar determination. They always do. And we'll be ready? The Dark Knight looked at his ally, and for just a moment, the ghost of a smile crossed his face. We always are. Rays of hope streamed across the sky, golden light washing over both heroes, both cities, both worlds. A new day had dawned. The villains would return. The battles would continue. The war between good and evil, between hope and despair, between light and darkness would rage on. But standing on that cliff, united against the sunrise, Batman Reimagined and Superman Reimagined made a silent promise to each other and to the world. They would face whatever came. They would fight whatever threatened. They would protect the innocent, no matter the cost. Because that was what heroes did. The multiverse watched. The villains plotted. The next confrontation loomed on the horizon like a storm. But in the golden light of dawn, with two legends standing united, one truth burned brighter than any threat could ever dim. Heroes rise. Through every shadow, through every night, through every impossible odd. Heroes rise. Batman Reimagined and Superman Reimagined stood together. The Dark Knight and the Man of Steel, human and God, united against the dawn. Their capes flowed in the warm morning wind. Their eyes watched the horizon. Their hearts beat with the same unbreakable purpose. The battle had ended. The war continued. And no matter what darkness came, no matter what villains emerged, no matter what impossible challenges arose, they would be ready. Together, forever. Legends united against the light of a new day. And in the hearts of every citizen in both cities, in every person who looked up at the sky and saw hope instead of fear, a single truth echoed like a promise that could never be broken. Heroes always rise. No matter the darkness, no matter the odds, no matter the enemy, heroes always rise.